Hey everybody, it's time for Tea and Book Tuesday with Lisa Prysock, and I've got my tea. I hope you have something to drink that you enjoy. I am trying a new kind of tea for me. It's a Moroccan mint green tea. But I hope you're comfortable and that you have a few minutes to chat with me. Today I wanted to share a little bit about being almost empty nesters with you, and a little bit about Hannah's garden. So we are in that stage, Robert and I, of being almost empty nesters, and it is very peaceful. It's a whole new experience for us. When we married, we had his, hers, and ours. So we've never really had this before. Our middle son, Aaron, does still live at home, and he works nights at Kroger's, stocking. So he has a busy social life as well. And he also helps my husband with our small handyman business. So, you know, he stays pretty busy, and he comes and goes a lot. And then, as you know, Courtney is away at school, and she's studying to be a missionary, and travels a lot, so we don't have her here that much. And Nick is in Michigan, and he detail cleans 747s for an airport company. So he stays very busy, and he manages his own cruise. So he has a very full plate, and we, talk on the phone and text and all those things. And it was great for all of us to be together at the wedding. But basically, we're empty nesters now. And, and my stepdaughters are grown and off and on their own. So we don't see them very often, but this is just a whole new stage for us, and we're enjoying it. And it's nice to have date nights, and my husband doesn't have to try to wait for the TV. He can watch football or whatever he wants. I'm usually away in my writing office anyway, so that's amazing. And it's nice to not have a big van to have to drive around, and I'm not, having to do all this lesson planning for homeschool, since we homeschooled our youngest two for the last 5 years, really. And we don't have, I'm not finding sucker sticks and candy wrappers in the car. I was able to downsize the Jeep not that long ago, or downsize from a van to a Jeep, and I love my Jeep. It's, everything I really wanted in a car. So I'm not finding fingerprints on the windows and things like that. And we're sort of in a project stage where we've got projects that we want to do that we've put off for many years. And I know it's time to restain the deck, and we want to put a walkway out there and maybe like a little arch or something someday. And we've got the kitchen project. We're wanting to replace some of our cupboards in there, or at least the cabinet doors. And there's the closets. I'm hoping to take over more of the closets as the kids all take their things. And it's just amazing to me how much you acquire when you're parents, because you think you're going to need it. But so we're trying to downsize some of the things we've acquired. Of course, I'm not giving up my books or my workout equipment or my clothes, although I do give away a lot of clothing. But I do plan to downsize a few more things and restructure and reorganize a few things. We're trying to put more lights in the dining room, and we are also doing a treehouse remodel, and that's very slow going. And just decluttering in general, and things like that. So, it's all coming along. It takes time. I think we're just kind of in that, no kids stage, and just adapting to that. But we're enjoying it. And I don't know, I'd love to hear from you if any of you are empty nesters and what you think of the transition. But it is just very calm and very peaceful. And it's exciting to see the kids spread their wings after all we've poured into them, to see what they're going to do with their lives. And just we try to be there for them and still be very supportive to their needs. And I know we still get a lot of, hey, we need more money. Can you put money in my account, and stuff like that. So it's kind of fun because my daughter in particular, she's in a program where they're not allowed to work. They just have to focus on their ministry opportunities and their classes. So we're kind of the bankroll, and it's interesting, but and it's all for a good cause, so we don't really mind. And so I also wanted to share a little bit more with you today about Hannah's Garden, and I've got the cover here to show you. This is book 1 of a 2-book series. Abigail's Melody is the second book. But I did recently update the cover because I thought it was more time period accurate. And I love this story. It's reminiscent of the Anne of Green Gables era, and a little bit kind of similar in storyline because it is about an orphan, but it's about a much bigger family. And this is a preacher's family, and he and his wife have 10 kids. Once they've adopted Hannah, I believe that's 10. And I wrote it quite a while ago, so I'm kind of stretching my memory, but I did do a lot of research about this Victorian series, and I looked into the expressions and the things that they would say, the clothing, hairstyles, the books that they read, the music from that time period, the lifestyle, the entertainment, and all of that sort of thing, the conveyances, and what churches and schools were doing at that time, and flowers, the kinds of flowers they had in the gardens that they had, the recipes and the conveyances. And you had just so much progress at the turn of the century. So you have Henry Ford building the quadricycle, and McKinley is president. Queen Victoria is a woman on the throne. So, they're just about to roll out with the Model T and the automobile and all of that. So there's a lot of progress in the story. They're about to transition from candlelight and oil lamps to having the option of electricity in homes, and the telephone is just starting to take off and all those sorts of things. So it was a wonderful time period to write about. Very interesting. And this just follows the panic of 1893. Hannah is kind of like an orphan with an attitude. So, and there's a lot of me in Hannah, a lot of my own story kind of comes out in Hannah's attributes. It's a different storyline, but if there was one character that I've ever written about that has a lot of the same emotions that I've gone through in my life, it would probably be Hannah. And it is a clean and wholesome story. You could definitely easily share it with your daughters because it is a coming of age story. So it kind of starts when she's like a teenager, and then moves on forward quickly and progresses quickly. But it is a very sweet story, and there is a lot of romance in it. But it's a front porch courtship more than anything else, as everything had to be chaperoned in those days. So, you could be in the parlor or you could be on the front porch. You might be able to take a buggy ride if it was short, or if it was followed by another couple or something like that. So there's an interesting thing thing about this book is it's very much a Victorian romance, and there are spotlights on D.L. Moody and John Chapman, the evangelical from the Cincinnati and Ohio area. So there's some great characters and a little bit of history tidbits in there. Also, this was a time period when you had the Methodists, the Lutherans, and the Presbyterians, and these three branches were the churches, the main churches of the day that were really popular and taking off. And so you have a Methodist preacher in this story, and there were ice cream socials and school socials and barn dances and things like that. So this is a very large family in the story. And I would also have to say my grandfather probably inspired quite a bit about Hannah's father in this story. So, and it's a story near and dear to my heart. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get a chance to read it. It's in very large print. It's available in pretty decent large print if you do buy the paperback. And so easy to read, and but it's very Victorian in nature if you love that era. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I needed to remember to mention about it. The Panic of 1893 had just happened. So the family had to be very resourceful with having 10 children. So that's an interesting aspect as well on how they coped with the finances during that time period. But I'm anxious to hear what you all think of it, and hope you'll leave me a review if you get a chance to read it. Hope you have a great week ahead, and thanks for joining me today.